What is up, you guys? We are No Apologies, the podcast where we give you the raw, the real, and how we feel. We are your hosts. My name is Mo.
And my name is Casey.
Let's get into it. All right. Listen, I know it's like beating a dead horse, but this horse got jokes, okay? Um, right before we came on the air, we were just thumbing through, YouTube and TikTok, and Herschel Walker. I came across a TikTok where he said they called him a coon, and he said he's from the country, and if anybody knows a coon, it's one of the smartest animals he's ever known. And if anyone has ever picked up a history book, everyone knows, or if you're really from the South, you know a coon is a racial slur.
Well, my take is a little bit different. I never thought that I would see a Herschel Walker interview, rally, speech, or interview where Herschel Walker would say something that I 1000% agree with. He is definitely a coon. Now, I disagree about how smart he is or the coons. I don't know about that. I don't know the coons took an IQ test or what. I just know that Herschel Walker is somebody pointed something out to me. Like last week we talked about how Herschel Walker checked off every racial stereotype box of black men, whether it be absentee father, abusive, woman beater, uneducated, uh, you know, paying for abortions, things of that nature. Said he checked off every box. But the thing that really made me laugh, shout out to Omar. Omar said that the one box I forgot was just doing whatever the the racist white people and the establishment tell him to do. And he checks that box too.
Oh, he's a do boy. If anybody's seen it at one of his rallies, he was shucking and driving, you know? Um, but another thing on talking about smartest animals, Trump calls for termination of Constitution, and this is ordered to overturn the 2020 election. My only take is, if you have to, if you want to overturn the election, couldn't we just go back and overturn the election in which he was elected to begin with?
I didn't think about that, but that's a very good question, and that's a great hypothetical. Because if we could turn over any election, it should be that one. But I will say this: this is how you know that 45 knows absolutely nothing about government. So I believe what happened. I commented on Jolene's post talking about 45 asking for the Constitution to be ripped up, blah 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 blah. But I believe what happened is that whether it was his daughter or one of his handlers or a political pollist, someone told 45 that, sir, here's the truth, hard truth. You're not even going to be the Republican nominee, so there's no chance of you winning the election in 2024. Because if he thought that he could just win the election, he wouldn't try to overturn this. And then the overturning part of the election is really silly. He doesn't understand government, so you'd have to go to the man who beat you in the election and say, hey, listen, what I'm going to need you to do is tear up the Constitution, start over, write an executive order, start over, and by doing that, reinstate me.
Hey, give me your job.
Yeah.
Hey, get up. That's my desk. Get out my seat. Up.
Thanks. I interviewed for this job, even though you have it, and I want this job now. So quit and let me have it.
Listen, I am walking right up to Tesla. Like, if you guys ever watched some of our prior videos when we were doing the YouTube channel, Tesla turned me down twice, right?
We'll never drive a Tesla.
So I'm going marching right up to Las Vegas to that power plant, and I am pointing at the creative director. Excuse me, sir. You get out my seat. Get all your pictures. Get your little child's painting and get out my chair.
Yeah.
And forward that check.
Yeah, I don't understand, and I saw a tweet on wifey's phone because I no longer have Twitter, but I saw the Republicans say like this dude, the Republicans have to get rid of. He's the worst thing for the Republican Party. I will say this, since we're wrapping up politics, there's rumbling inside the Democrat Party that they want to have somebody run against Joe Biden in the primary. Yeah, and that is troublesome for two reasons. Because number one, I need to do some more research, but I believe that the reason this is coming out now is because Joe Biden got in the way of that union strike. That's not a president's job, and well, because the last time we had a president that was involved hand in hand with the union, Jimmy Hoffa and JFK. So I'm wondering if because this railway strike was supposed to happen, and Joe Biden got basically, made a decision.
And it's old money tied up in freight.
Well, Frank's and that's another thing. You still have not just old money, but you also have I don't know mafia ties.
See, I mind your business. Honestly, I commend him because at one point he was a union man, and he's very proud of freight because he always talks about taking that train from Scranton.
All I can tell you is, listen, I'm telling you the truth. So I get what you're saying, but this is the problem. Now, Senator Joe traveling on the freight is one thing. Going back and forth to work in Pennsylvania, that's okay. Cool, blue collar guy, we love it. Getting in people's business, talking about other people's money as a president, that's different.
I mean, you're right because it wasn't his business, but I commend him from an outside perspective of being the president because he not only cares about the big guy, he cares about the little guy.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I am in no way, shape, or form upset with his decision. My thing is, if you're getting people back to work and they're going back to work for the money that they want, I'm all for that. Nobody, a paycheck shouldn't feel like a robbery. My problem is that you chose a side, and the president is the quote unquote the highest branch of law. He's the guy. There's nothing higher than him. So you don't know how many of these states are in business tough with these freight railways. These are the people that are making grumblings saying, "Hey, listen, we're not going to support them." And if they have some type of inside Democratic coup where they're like, "This guy's not for us. We want this guy out. We want so and so to run. We'll put our guy in place." That's a real problem.
And I think it was a few months back where they listed possible candidates for the political party to take Joe Biden's place, and Kamala was on the list. Buttigieg, I can't remember if Stacey Abrams were on there, but Cory Booker was on there. Just a few people that they voted on as a mass society. I never received any of these, but just general public of who they would not mind running for president.
Y'all, that's fine and everything, but the truth of the matter, Buttigieg got no shot. No shot. No. It would be they're looking along the lines. See, everyone is looking at the next 4 years. They're looking further down the line. So the Republicans are already grooming DeSantis for their nominee. The anti-version of him is Newsom in California. I want to address DeSantis real quick because DeSantis is all over social media now because he said those that are woke. We're not gonna the woke. Talking about black people being educated about what happened, what's going on, and what the future looks like should not be used as a rallying cry. He was the references he was making. The woke people, as if that they're enemies. They call it a dog whistle. It's more like a bullhorn. He's telling these people that when you're saying the woke people, you're saying the black people. Yeah, and anybody, and that goes back to the Kyle Rittenhouse thing. The reason they didn't care about Rittenhouse killing 2 white people was because those 2 white people were standing with black people. So you're right. So it's not just when you say woke, because woke can mean that you brown. Woke can mean that you white and understand that there's a problem because Woke is only saying that you have a complete understanding of the racism, the discrimination, and the practices of those in this country. That's what it means. So to attach that the way he did to a negativity and saying, "Oh, the woke people," he was talking about black people.
Honestly, I wouldn't even just put a race on it at all, or ethnicity, because being woke means to be enlightened. And anyone, basically like the Matrix, that woke up, is basically a target now. And the fact that he can turn something that is so powerful into a degrading term,
Right.
it's baffling. And that's the thing. I supported DeSantis with his motion on how he stood with COVID, regards to Florida, because that is a vacation state, that is a tourist attraction. So you cannot shut it down because of COVID, but you can enforce COVID regulations, which we truly supported that during our honeymoon.
Yeah.
But to these same woke people are the ones that walk Miami Beach, that
Yeah.
have
Right.
the side shops and the hookah lounges.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like how. Okay, so just how you just said that that it was DeSantis, his policies on COVID. No, I was trying to find the TikTok with the walk on it. With DeSantis and his views on COVID, the counterpart to that is Gavin Newsom in California, where as long as you had your vaccination card, you could participate in all of the activities in Los Angeles, whether it be Disneyland, uh, Magic Mountain, Nightmare Farm. If you had a California vaccination card, that means the only people that could go were vaccinated, and they did not let anybody in without a California vaccination card. Whether your stance on the vaccination does not matter. What I'm saying is that these two governors put things in place for their states, and these are large populated states, and it worked. Both had two different tactics, but both had success. They're being groomed to be, you know, this is who Paul Ryan was. Paul Ryan was supposed to be the no. Paul Ryan was supposed to be the anti-Obama, smart, educated lawyer, two little girls, wife, lawyer. He about the same age, young guy. This was supposed to happen, and then 45 came and ruined it for everybody.
Well, I'll say my stance on California, because we were in California too during the pandemic. If I could change, if I could rewind time and we progress with, I enjoyed the time when they were just checking for cards, because it let those anti-vaccination people, regardless of your stance, they followed the science in that part. If you got the shot and you came in, or you didn't get the shot and you stayed out. Newsom, only Californians with a California ID could go into Disney World, so it was a closed off environment. And then like SeaWorld, as long as you had your full vaccination with proof of, you had to submit your vaccination cards before you purchase your ticket, and then show it again before you enter, which was absolutely crazy. But it made sure that not only were we safe, but we also knew that everyone in there, was pretty much vaccinated other than young children. But moving on from Florida, well, California, we're gonna come back to Georgia, and my good old boy Obama, former President Barack Obama. He had some words at Warnock's rally, and he was right. And he's always a jokester. He always knows how to throw a punchline, but he there's no words because he's so eloquent. But I truly enjoyed listening to him speak about Reverend Warnock.
Well, it was okay hearing to Reverend Warnock. I enjoyed the fact that when he spoke about Herschel Walker saying that he has seen that vampires could be killed by werewolves, and he wanted to be a werewolf. Obama said he had that same debate, but he had him when he was 7. That was hilarious. He's got very good comedic timing. But the thing that I'm not understanding about the state of Georgia, because the election day is Tuesday, there are thousands of HBCUs and private school students in Georgia who are not able to vote due to state law saying if you have a private or HBCU student ID, you can't use that to vote. My question to them is because now they're sounding alarm saying, hey, they won't let us vote. They won't let us vote. Maybe if you had showed a little more responsibility and voted in the first election, we wouldn't need a runoff.
Yeah, so basically, it's state policy that all public universities and colleges can use their student IDs to go vote in the state of Georgia. However, if you go to a private institution, which is 7 of the 10 HBCUs in the state of Georgia with over 10,000 students, you cannot use your ID to vote. Again, if so the people that were interviewed were juniors and seniors, one freshman who of course you can't really point the finger at them because they just got down there. But all of these juniors and seniors, they could have, if they cared so much, they should have done something sooner.
No, ma'am, I'm not cutting the freshman any break either because when you move and you register to vote, you are actually speaking to a either a poster or a election official. You're supposed to be in a learning institution, growing up, preparing for adulthood. They probably had 20 rallies on campus talking or debates, speaking about the Senate election. So, okay, that means you didn't even attempt to vote in the first election. And then, once it's a runoff, and you feel like, oh, my vote will count and I'm needed, no matter who the candidate is you're choosing. Let's say that 7 of these schools are 6 of them are Herschel Walker supporters. They dropped the ball because had they voted, we wouldn't be in the runoff. So my thing is, that's irresponsible. That's irresponsible. It, there's been too much said about voting in this country over the last 16 years, especially in the black and brown community, especially in our community, about how important it is to vote. The vote is so important that in certain states, they are printing up fake ballots to cause people not to vote. That's how important it is. So as a member of any student body, if they didn't have someone on campus registering people to vote and finding out, there's no excuse for that. I find that just to be irresponsible.
And I feel like that envelope should have been pushed when it came to the um the governor election, when it came, like when Stacey Abrams was pushing the envelope, even Kemp, no one dared reach out to the universities when Kamala was elected, and everyone was HBCU proud. No one said, "Hey, we couldn't vote."
That's my point exactly. So you mean to tell me that all these people that were all screaming D9 and no one's on campus registering anybody to vote. That's number one. But number two, if you knew and didn't tell anybody, you're equally as bad. How how can you expect? Do you also know that means they didn't vote for Stacey Abrams? Because if they voted for Stacey Abrams, we wouldn't be in this situation. So there is a bunch of young black, brown students in HBCUs that did not vote. That's unacceptable.
Not only that, but as a former college student, we're the little man. We cram for the bucks. We're on scholarships. We're athletes, and we're trying to push the envelope and still make ends meet. So when you're talking about your role in politics and not voting, it's really making a mockery of yourself because people like Stacey Abrams is fighting for the little man. So it really could have made a big difference if we, as in the young student body of Georgia, would have reached out and pushed a little bit harder, or even got to administration to say, "Hey, our hands are tied," or "What can we do about this?" Raise awareness.
If you knew you couldn't vote your student ID, it takes you 5 minutes to go down to the DMV and get you a state ID. That's all you got to do. Listen. There is zero excuse for this. This is what happened here. Is what happened in the 2016 election. And like people don't want to say it out loud, but it is what it is. Black people kept saying in large amounts that they didn't like Hillary. There's no need to vote because Trump can't win, or my vote doesn't count. And then he won, and then they were sick, and then they ran to the polls. So think about this. Joe Biden barely won Georgia, and we know almost 70,000 people didn't vote.
And not only that, 300,000 votes have been counted for early voting, and it is 49 Warnock, 47 Herschel. And the fact that that margin is so close, even on a runoff, it's it's scary and it's ridiculous. My thing is this: these students with the outcry. I mean, even if they were to cast their votes now, my thing is, where were you at the beginning?
See, that's the thing about politics that, if you had, what was her name? My civics teacher, she was so mean. Well, because the reason that number doesn't bother me is because very rarely do you get to a runoff and the person who lost in the runoff, their cause runoff, wins. And with Herschel Walker, see, they don't have to get over 50% now. See, so if it's 49.2 and he has 49.8, he's losing. That's how I go. You can win by percentage points. Yeah, it doesn't have to. You don't have to get over 50% now. They draft out the other candidate. So look at it this way. Let's say that the 2% that actually voted for the Libertarian, I can't think of his name, McCall or something. If they just said we're not going to vote, we're going to end up with the same result. Like, you, it's going to be hard in 2 weeks to change somebody's mind to to vote for the other candidate. What I'm just telling you, everybody who voted, if that was the case, and all these Herschel Walker people have seen any of his interviews, this election should be over.
If you're Team Vampire, vote for Warnock.
That's what it's coming down to.
If you are Team Vampire, whether you're Twilight or Team Wolf, it was Edward and Taylor Lautner played the werewolf.
Jacob?
Yeah, Edward and Jacob.
Yeah, vote Jacob or Edward.
Vote Team Jacob.
Listen, bro.
No, vote Team Edward. There you go.
And finishing up our HBCU, Monet, your school believes they're the guardian of the SWAC.
That's because we've been back-to-back SWAC champions for so long.
Yeah, that's cool and everything, but you guys believe that you are the protectors of the entire conference. You guys are the SWAC. You guys act like this. This is what it is. You guys are, in your minds, and I mean, I don't. You guys come in the comments. Is what it is. They drag me into where it's not a real place. You guys are acting as if you guys are like the Alabama of SEC. Like you guys are that team in the SWAC. That's what you guys are acting like.
We are.
Okay. So let me address the Deion Sanders situation. I believe that Deion Sanders left a great situation for a bad opportunity. Now, let me explain why. Black coaches never get good jobs, never get good job opportunities, and it doesn't matter what level you're talking about. Like you're not gonna have a black guy in the NFL, the SEC, like coaching good programs. It's not gonna happen. When a black coach does get a head coaching job, it's always a bad school. Colorado's a bad school. We're out here. I'm telling all my listeners right now, Colorado's a bad school. None of the kids in Colorado are going to go to Boulder. Like Deion might bring a few recruits with him. I'm very interested to see, because a lot of recruits decommitted from Jackson State. I'm really interested to see if any of them follow him to Colorado. I got to see that. With that being said, people in Colorado believe they have a football country out here. They don't. The Broncos are trash. Russell Wilson just came in and stole $240 million from him. Like, he's trash. Like John Elway, like they believe out here that they have a football, like the schools here. It's a bad job. Deion Sanders is gonna be fired like in 3 years. And for all you people that are saying he's not swag, Eddie Robinson Jr. said he wasn't swag, this, that, and other. Nothing can be more swag than sending your sons to an HBCU.
Okay, so all of that about Alcorn was unnecessary. The reason why we feel like we're representatives of the SWAC.
No, the gatekeepers.
We are the representatives for the SWAC. We're not gatekeeping anything because
I'm brave.
no, you're not.
Also not answering.
Okay. He's over here clowning. Anyway, no, because my thing is there's something about swag pride that most people will never inhabit because you're not from swag. And we had, so one of my counterparts from Alcorn, one of the former Alcornites, he made a comment talking about um, midnight breakfast and chicken Wednesdays and fish Fridays and games and stress and struggles. And I understand that happens at a lot of schools. However,
All schools.
all schools have their struggles and their trials, and most of us are broken hungry. But, and it's a big booty, but when it comes to a swag school, whether it's Grambling, whether it's JSU, ASU, Valley, we all share that commonality of not only Chicken Wednesdays or Fish Fridays, but that bonding of how we become a family just by being in the same university.
Like, I'm gonna address that because what you're saying, the only reason it feels different for you guys, and I'm just talking to somebody who went to a PWI. The reason it feels different for you guys is because most of you guys either went to school together, whether it be high school or have family members that went to the high school, live in the same state, things like that. So it feels like family because actually it is family. Well, I'm just telling you, there's a lot of your family are also alums of your school. So how is it that
I did a 2-month summer program at Tuskegee University. It's outside of SWAC, but it is an HBCU. I am speaking on HBCUs. Just so happens I am in the SWAC region. But at Tuskegee University, I felt at home as well. Alcorn, yes, there is a lineage of distant cousins and aunts that went there, but I was there by myself of my own generation, of my own family. My folks were 3 hours away. Yes, that's not far, but when you don't have a car, it seems like forever. I was on my own. They're not paying for me to go to school. I was working a full-time job on a full scholarship. It's different.
No, it's not.
My roommates became my sisters. My classmates became my family. When one of us fail, we all fail. When one of us succeeds, we all succeed. I just feel like it's a different situation. When you go to a HBCU, you're nurtured, you're taken in, and some of us who were deemed outcasts in high school or weird, we all find our tribes.
But your name is college. Like you your cousin want me to say that it was different. And I'm telling you guys it wasn't. I'm telling you. Like it's the reason that you started having white Qs and Asian, who you go to school with, who you room with. This is why I say blood makes you related and family makes you loyal. You guys are trying to make it seem like it was something different at any other school.
No.
Like, unless you're talking about an Ivy League school where I don't believe that the kids there are hungry, unless you're talking like Ivy League or like NYC or Stanford, I'm telling you that every struggle that appeared on an HBCU has appeared on a PWI.
Negative ghostwriter, hard pass, hard pass. And I want you guys to attack the comment section. Either you leave your alma mater colors, put a comment down, but I truly believe an HBCU experience is totally different from a PWI.
So
Not only
so you changing the argument.
no, I'm saying
That's not what I said. See, that's what I'm saying.
You said
No. What I did was no. You are saying that there's a difference in a HBCU experience.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything like that. So what I said was that there is not a college outside of the Ivy League schools that does not have the same issues, whether it be a student athlete going hungry. I tell you what, do you think that Jameis Winston, the quarterback of FSU, who knew he was on his way to the pros, didn't steal those crab legs because he was hungry? He was on his way to the NFL when he stole those crab legs. That is the starting quarterback in Tallahassee, Florida. So I know that you believe that a hungry student who thought he could get away with it. Because you cannot tell me that Jameis Winston knew he was on his way to the league, thought he would get caught. And he wasn't stealing them to try to, for some clout. He grabbed 2 crab legs because he was hungry. They might have had just enough for a boil. And that's real. And couldn't afford the crab legs. They could have had some sausage and some corn and found a few potatoes. Man, I wish we could have some crab legs. Man, I know that deli up there, I think I can get them. That's what happened.
No. If you got corn, potatoes, all that jazz, and you looking for crab legs, that's because you want them, not because you need them. Now, it's different from the Grand Pierre.
Listen,
you gotta tell.
Listen to me.
So the Grand Pierre, where you stealing hot dogs out the 7-Eleven, that's a struggle.
Listen to me. You're doing it again, baby. Listen, this is what you're doing. You are taking the onus off of what actually happened and making it fit your narrative. Let's say that it was a celebration, because we've had this. Let's say it was in celebration of somebody's auntie or mommy that passed. And the thing you wanted to do for the celebration was to boil. That's what makes getting the crab legs that important.
What's that situation?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. We will never know why the starting quarterback from Florida State University, who was undefeated and went to play for a national championship, stole some crab legs. Like, I know you refuse to believe that he was just that hungry or that he could have just went without them. The question is not whether he could. The answer is he didn't. And we talking about somebody that had a whole lot to lose. A whole lot. I told you, when I was in school, there was 5 dudes that went to prison for murder on campus. Over, like, fist fights and girls. Like, it gets covered up better with the PWIs because you got so much money. But make no mistake about it. Just like the Great Pierre. And for those that don't know what the Great Pierre was, when I was in school, like, you go to Circle K, they have 2 hot dogs for $1. Well, I had a roommate, Pierre, from Florida, who would go into the Circle K and put 4 and 5 hot dogs on each bun and cover them with onions and ketchup and chilies and stuff them in the bag and walk real fast past the clerk and just give them $1. And then go home and take some of those hot dogs out of the bun, eat 2 or 3, and save those for later. Till one day the old man called him and said, "No, you owe me $13. I just put those on there." He had taken every hot dog off the little rotisserie thing, every one of them, 6 each, owed $13. But that's another story. All I'm saying is, I read the post and I even asked you about it. I don't know why people think, like at a PWI, that life is just so good. There are struggles in college for college students. That's exactly why Bernie Sanders wanted it to be free.
I'm seeing if I can pull it up real quick.
But the post?
Yeah.
Why? Like,
I just want to read it, so you know what I'm saying. So they don't just think we're just.
No, you don't have to read the post, because if you read the post, you go to the album.
Well, I mean, like I said, it was one of my fellow alums, but he was just talking about the HBCU experience, and he based it around SWAC. And anyone and that's the thing. It's one of those you have to be there to understand. It's hard to explain the story with so much detail and emotion or knowledge attached to it, because I'm pretty sure people say there's no game like a Braves game, but they go to Jackson State and say there's no game like a Tigers game. It is what it is. But when it comes to HBCUs, a lot of people are holding on to Deion's leaving because it was like, oh, he was going to get us out the hood. But my thing is, it's created so much publicity. First it was Kamala, and now it's Deion. But here's the post, and I'm gonna read it. Y'all don't have not one SWAC human resource and stay in SWAC business. We grew here, y'all flew here. We're not like LSU and Bama, where you just pick one. We bled it because we loved it and lived it. From going.
Like, I'm confused because I know dudes
Because
from Baton Rouge.
we bleed purple and gold.
Listen, I know dudes from Baton Rouge I know dudes that played that's from Baton Rouge. I know dudes that played and is from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And you think that they don't love their school as much as you guys love yours? Come on, man, that's ridiculous.
I'm gonna say it.
So go ahead, read it.
And lived it. From going to class, pep rallies, midnight breakfasts, and other campus activities, dorm parties, Chicken Wednesday, and Fish Friday, struggling in classes to starving most days because you're broke. We struggled and grew as people on those campuses. That's why we don't tolerate outsiders. And he's not excluding to just Alcorn. He's talking about SWAC in general. All of these schools have a commonality. And it's not saying that other schools don't struggle, but outside of SWAC, there's nothing like it. That's the whole my okay. You have one perception because my goal is to get Casey on all course campus on a no game day and on a maybe like Campus City Classic, something like when there is a really big game, homecoming, something, so he can understand what it's like to be a Brave.
Let me tell you something. John loves Ohio State. And when Ohio State plays Michigan every year, they mark and X out every M in the city. On everything. There's not a sign in the city that an M doesn't have a red or a black X over it. You don't think that those Buckeyes love the Big Ten and love Ohio State? Like you don't think that and the reason I can use Ohio State because Ohio State has been telling the same lie for over 100 years. They said they got the best band in the land. That's what Ohio State. No, but I'm using this as an example. Even though we know that the best bands are in the SWAC, Ohio State's alum think they got the best band. Okay, it's not. But that's what I'm trying to. So my point is, why would you guys think, like he said, LSU, Alabama? Why would you think that anybody else will feel different about their conference and their school than you guys do? And you guys, just like I said, became the gatekeepers of the SWAC.
We became the gatekeepers because we were the champions. We are the champions. Okay, listen. I'm just gonna agree to disagree on that one. Like I said, I want y'all to hit these comment sections. Even if you don't listen to all of it, at least listen to this part because I truly believe, as a student of a HBCU, as a former student of a HBCU, of someone who holds her alma mater close to her heart, that it's nothing like it, regardless of whose campus you are on in the SWAC. Because I've been to Prairie View, I've been to Texas A&M, I've been to Texas Tech, which was totally different and it was weird out there. I've been to FAMU, I've been to Tuskegee, been to Alabama A&M. Like it's unexplainable. That's all I'm gonna say.
I wonder what. Listen,
I'm done.
I wonder how them Tigers feel when they in school and they go to Mardi Gras.
When they what?
When they're in school down at LSU in Baton Rouge, and they whole school show up at Mardi Gras.
I don't know, but it's a lot of times that Alcorn goes down and we take over Bourbon Street.
Yeah, I understand that.
What's your point?
They're from Bourbon Street.
Mm.
They grew there. They didn't fly there. How do you think they feel about their school?
I'm pretty sure they go Tigers.
Okay.
See, I feel like you're trying to create an argument that's not there. We don't.
You read the post. He said
LSU or Bama.
Yeah, and we don't like outsiders. Hey, man. Deion Sanders.
I feel like you're hating outside the club.
No, I'm just telling you, it sounds weird to me that his anger is with Deion Sanders leaving Jackson State, not even his school, but Deion Sanders is an outsider because he left that school. Let me tell you something. There's not one coach in the SWAC, not one. Because if Dion was making the most, and he just got a 1,567% raise, there's not one coach in the SWAC who grew there that would stay there. So I'm just saying that's fake news. That's fake news. Dion took a bad job, but that bad job comes with a $5 million paycheck. Not McNair. There is no coach in the SWAC that is saying, no, sir, no. There's an experience down here. I'm not going to take that $5 million and go coach the same program. Nothing says SWAC more than sending your sons to an HBCU. And anybody that's upset about him leaving, because Deion Sanders' son could have played football anywhere in the country. Anywhere. His son is the first HBCU student athlete to get an NIL deal. I mean, for anybody to say that Deion Sanders is doing anything for the SWAC, that's ridiculous to me. That's just ridiculous. I don't understand what they expected him to do. Now, I believe he took a bad job, but make no mistake about it. Him leaving JSU for Colorado was about not just the money, but proving he could do it on another level. You got people saying, the only reason he was winning at Jackson State because he had the best recruits in a small conference. And as a man, the type of person he is, he wasn't going to stand for that too much longer. So he left not just to prove a point, but my anger is with those that's saying that because what was he supposed to be, Eddie Robinson? And coach Jackson State for 50 years? Win the most games? That's what Deion's his job was supposed to be? Okay.
I mean, listen, more power to him, but as far as the comment, as far as being SWAC and not being SWAC, I feel like Deion did what he was supposed to do, and if anyone has offered me $5 million to do my passion, I go. Now, if it wasn't a money thing and they were paying the same as JSU, it would be a different story. But because it is a larger pay, and his son he's already made his mark in Mississippi, I feel like it's okay. But I feel like a lot of people are holding on a little too tight on the dream of Deion Sanders in the SWAC. I feel like before Deion, I'm always SWAC. After Deion, I'm still SWAC. It is, I mean, it's my conference.
I get it.
It's my stomping ground. It is what it is. Like I said, I agree to disagree. But it's still on the movement of sports and making a statement. LeBron James on this whole comment situation, if you haven't seen it, make sure you go look it up.
Yeah, the thing that I'm having with a lot of people that can't separate LeBron James, the man, from LeBron James, the basketball player they hate. I got into a TikTok fight because somebody said that LeBron James was a sellout and never spoke up for black people because he stopped the media and told them, hey, you guys had a whole lot of questions to ask me about Kyrie. Why is anybody asking me about that photo of Jerry Jones standing to desegregation protest? My problem is this. How quickly we forget when LeBron James playing with the Miami Heat and Trayvon Martin, God rest his soul, was murdered. LeBron James came on the court wearing a hoodie, and then the Miami Heat took a picture with the hoodie. Remember that? Or when George Floyd was murdered by Chavis, LeBron James showed up in warm-ups wearing an I Can't Breathe shirt. Remember that? Or when Donald Sterling called Magic Johnson the N-word, LeBron James got with Chris Paul and said, if they don't make him sell this team, I'm leaving the NBA. Remember that?
Or with the playoffs when he told Curry, I don't care who wins, I'm not going to Trump.
Yeah. When everybody knows it was customary for the champion of no matter what the sport was to have a presidential visit. Well, LeBron James before the 2018 finals, I believe, or 17 finals, flat out said, even if the Cleveland Cavaliers win, we're not going to the White House when 45 is there. Remember that? Or his speech at the beginning of the BET Awards, where he addressed police brutality and the Black Lives Matter movement and Colin Kaepernick. Remember that? So I don't know where this is coming from. Like I mean, like I said, a lot of times people just you got to separate the man in the basketball game. Like he's not a basketball player. He's a man that plays basketball, and I think that a lot of people keep they're not understanding that. That's he's not a basketball player. He's a man that plays basketball, and he's really well at it. But he's navigating through life when he talked bad about Kyle Rittenhouse. Remember that? Like this is the guy that the racist Republicans told to shut up and play basketball. So to say he doesn't speak out as, or calling him a sellout, man, that's just lame to me. That's lame. Where are you getting this from? Like what else could he do? And I'm not here to bash Michael Jordan, but LeBron James has said things that Michael Jordan would never say and still hasn't said. Like Kobe resting, so he's dead. He can't say these things. But Michael Jordan is here. I mean, it is, and don't listen, and please don't come in the comments to tell you about Michael Jordan, being a GOAT and all. I don't want to hear it. That's not what we're talking about. I will say that Michael Jordan was the first billionaire executive that had all black executives. So I commend him on the front. But sometimes influence is much, much, much more important than money.
And I was just about to say, when is Jordan going to stop caring about how much money he makes and actually make a stance? Because at the end of the day, he's just another black man. And he's not in our headlines today, but same thing with Kanye. When these dollars fade, when this money stops counting, when nobody cares about the commas, you're still a black man in a system that's not built for you. So I don't understand.
Yeah, that child support. You know how much money they pay? Did you know how much his child support payment was a month? Yeah, 200,000 a month. 2 kids, 200,000. Yeah. 1.4 million a year. So he better figure that money situation out. Yeah, well, you better figure it out because if Kim can't have it her way, man, 18 years of this, he going to remake that Gold Digger song.
Or he can go get him a job at Pizza Hut, and she get that $500 a month.
No, that's the whole thing. They're not. His child support is not accounted like what he makes. No. It's what he's worth. Yeah. So the court decided that $200 a month is fair. Yeah, they said that's fair. So he needed to figure that out. He needed. One thing I can say, if when you talk about somebody that absolutely had nothing and made a whole lot out of it, that Kim K boy. Oof. From sex tape to billionaire. Wow.
Kanye West is paying $200,000 a month in child support. Where did that number come from?
Judge.
In California, the average amount is about $430 a child a month.
Well.
So I wonder if she's gonna get alimony too with the divorce.
She don't need the alimony. Like alimony, she won't be awarded. She's big now. That child support, he gonna pay. Those kids used to live in a certain way.
Oh, and all the kids attend a private day school in Los Angeles, $20,000 a year in kindergarten students, and $40,770 for high schoolers.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like those kids. Listen, see, that's the thing that people are misunderstanding. They're thinking like, oh, Kim Kardashian is trying to get in his pocket. No, that's what these kids are accustomed to living to. Yeah. Listen, that number's not inflated for Kim Kardashian to pad her pockets. Like this is really like the only thing that's different. The only thing that's different is if they were living together, they would basically be splitting the bill. But because now she has the custody, she pays for their living and he pays for their education and lifestyle.
And one thing I know you're probably not abreast on it, but that whole Safari situation where he left, I think her name was Amina. But anyway, so she was a single mother before she met Safari. She got with Safari. They were supposed to get married. She had a baby. He is literally not attentive, doesn't come around, and now she only gets I think it's 4,000 or something a month for child support, and it's a big situation too because she emotionally made herself available. I feel like it's I feel like emotional distress should be involved in child support, especially when you're married.
I don't believe that. Hell, I don't believe her. Ain't like that. Like her saying that. Did somebody with some letters and like thermometer numbers after their name? Did they got degrees like thermometers? They say that, or was that her statement?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. No, ma'am. That $4,000 gonna get her a Birkin bag. I don't believe none of that. And I believe that if there's a sign of some form of abuse, it should be investigated, and then it should be determined by an expert, whether that be like now let's just document it. Like you got pictures of somebody with a black eye and police reports this and another. Then oh yeah, that's definitely got to come into play.
So they're divorced, and she's getting $4,305 a month in child support.
Okay.
I I honestly, because when she did the reunion for Love and Hip Hop, she was talking about how she made herself emotionally available, how she told him how she struggled as a single mother with the first child. Just he's shrugging his shoulders. I feel like emotional distress should be involved in child support, especially when you've been in a either a long committed relationship over 5 years, or you're married and getting divorced, or you're legally separated. You don't ask to have a child by yourself. Some people do, but in this case, no.
See, what you're saying is it's a wash because if you tell me that she says I should get $5,000 because of the way he yelled at me and and treated me, and he says, "Well, I should get $5,000 because you made me yell at you and treat you that way because you wouldn't listen, or you were a bad person." It goes both ways. What I'm telling you is, I don't believe anything she's saying because she is saying it for a camera. She is saying it for the camera. Like, if you want to impress me, tell that to the judge. And they read back the court minutes. Say that under oath. Don't tell me on Love and Hip Hop. Like, VH1 ain't no court.
Uh, you're horrible.
VH1 ain't no court.
Like she shed a lot of tears.
Yeah.
When it came to
Oh,
Safari.
well, wait a
She
minute.
did.
Wait
Okay,
one
listen.
second.
Man's son.
Oh my God.
That man
makes so
didn't care
sense.
if I made it through that pregnancy. That man didn't care if I made it through that labor. I really have fought through some dark time. Like, literally, I couldn't get out of bed, guys.
Okay. How'd you get here?
There was days I could not eat. But at the same
What's your
time, I have to
epidemic?
face my kids, and I gotta act like everything's okay because I'm the only one that feeds them on a day-to-day basis. Like, I had to drag myself out of that dark place. With my first son, because I had to hustle so much, I sacrificed so much
baby, I
time
don't
away
wanna
from
say
my
this is
firstborn
over.
that I'm still
Because
trying
I'm
to.
not-
Oh
that-
my
listen,
gosh.
Because that didn't change nothing I said, bro.
You can't hear the pain
I
in
can't
her.
hear nothing, man. He's like a bad out of work actress. I had to be tough for my kids, and she sound like Miss Seeley. Nobody want to hear all that, man. Real talk. Like I don't believe any of that. None of that.
Wait a minute. Okay, remember I left the baby with you for a few hours, and you made a Facebook post talking about you don't understand how I do it. You understand how challenging and well, you don't understand the emotional part of it, but
You are trying to compare. What you're saying is that Safari, who was in the hip hop culture, this guy is who she told and she was vulnerable with, and she should get money because it didn't work out. Then where is the emotional damage for the first baby daddy? Because of the two men we know of, the one common problem seems like it's her. Because the first guy left. And now so the next guy will be the third guy.
you make me seem so dirty.
I'm not making it seem dirty. I'm just making it seem like the truth. Like you're telling me that, oh, she sounded heartfelt. Well, I would expect her to do that. She was on VH1. Like I said, that's not court. That's not court. I was waiting for her to take off her eyelashes and start crying. Seriously, that was a horrible performance. Horrible. And then they showed the camera shot, and then showed the other VH1 bums. I don't know any of those people up there, by the way. And they're staring at him because now they mad. Like, how could you do that? Well, how'd you get here? Your relationship can't be perfect. You on this show. What are you doing here? That's why I don't watch those. I I'm sorry. That's exactly why I don't watch them.
I just find it relatable. That's all.
You find that relatable?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
I'm a mother.
Oh, okay.
No drama.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
What were her kids? Both her parents on stage.
Oh, shut up. They can have a
Oh,
babysitter.
but they gotta have child support. Emotional damage.
Okay. Okay. Is that all you got? Are you done for the day?
I am done. Make some stew.
All right, that's all we got today. And remember, you said what you said, so stand on it. Don't forget to like. Make sure you comment. Swag, stand up, okay? Make sure you comment and subscribe, you guys. Until next time, have a blessed one.